The billionaire froze behind the wheel as his maid stepped out of the mansion gate with a locked metal box. The same box he saw years ago on the night everything in his life changed forever. He adjusted the driver's mirror, hiding his face under a cap, heart pounding as she quietly sat in the back seat, unaware that her employer was now watching her every move in silence. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments what time is it and where are you watching from. Let's start. The car rolled into the busy city road, traffic loud and restless, but inside the vehicle, a strange tension grew as she clutched that box tighter, like it carried something dangerous. He tried to act normal, asking for the destination in a calm driver's tone, but she hesitated for a second, then gave an address that made his grip tighten on the steering wheel. It wasn't a market, not a park, not even a normal place. It was an old neighborhood he had erased from his life, a place tied to memories he buried deep with regret. Rain started falling lightly, blurring the windshield, as his mind raced back to a decision he made years ago, a decision that cost someone everything without him realizing the truth. From the rearview mirror, he noticed her eyes, tired, heavy, carrying silent pain, and for the first time he wondered, was she hiding something or protecting something? The car slowed near a broken street, far from the luxury world he lived in, and she suddenly said, "Stop here," her voice firm, almost like she didn't want him to go further. But he didn't stop completely. Something inside him refused, because deep down he felt this wasn't just about her shift ending. This was about a truth he was never meant to see. The car idled on the cracked roadside as she stepped out quickly, pulling her shawl tighter, scanning the empty street like someone afraid of being followed. He pretended to check his phone, but his eyes stayed locked on her through the mirror as she walked fast toward a narrow alley between two old buildings. Something felt wrong, not criminal, not suspicious in that way, but heavy, like a secret built from years of silence and sacrifice he never cared to notice. He parked the car a little ahead and quietly stepped out, keeping distance, his polished shoes now touching muddy ground he hadn't walked on in years. The alley smelled of damp walls and forgotten lives, and each step he took behind her made his heart beat louder, as if the past itself was pulling him deeper inside. She stopped in front of a small, worn-out house, paint peeling, door slightly broken. Nothing like the grand mansion where she spent her days serving silently. He watched as she gently knocked twice, then once. A strange pattern, like a signal, and after a pause, the door slowly opened from inside without a word. His breath caught when he saw what was inside. Not luxury, not comfort, but something that instantly made his chest tighten with an unfamiliar guilt. She entered quickly and shut the door behind her, hiding everything from the outside world. But one thing was clear now. She wasn't just a maid living a simple life. Standing in the rain, he moved closer to the window, unaware that what he was about to witness would shatter the image he had built about his own past. He leaned near the cracked window, rain dripping from his coat, as faint voices echoed inside, not loud, but filled with a quiet struggle that felt painfully real. Through the torn curtain, he saw her kneeling beside an old bed, carefully placing that metal box down, her hands trembling as if what lay inside mattered more than her own life. The room was dim, lit by a weak bulb, revealing peeling walls and worn furniture, but his eyes locked on the bed, where someone lay completely still, barely moving. His breath stopped for a second as he realized it wasn't just illness. It was long-term suffering, the kind that drains years, not days, from a person's existence. She opened the box slowly, revealing neatly arranged medicines, old reports, and bundles of cash wrapped carefully, like every rupee had been saved with sacrifice. The person on the bed tried to move slightly, and in that moment he noticed something chilling, a familiar detail that hit him harder than anything he expected. A scar, a deep old scar near the shoulder, the exact same mark from a past incident he had tried to forget, thinking it had ended differently. His hands clenched unconsciously as memories flooded back. A deal, a mistake, a moment where he chose power over truth, leaving someone behind without looking back. Inside, she whispered softly, "I brought everything. Don't worry." Her voice breaking, not as a worker, but as someone carrying a responsibility far beyond her role. And outside that broken window, the billionaire realized this wasn't just her secret anymore. It was a past he had abandoned, now standing alive in front of him. His chest tightened as the rain grew heavier, each drop hitting like a reminder that the past he buried was now breathing again inside that fragile room. He stepped closer to the wall, barely daring to look again, but something forced him, a need to confirm the truth he was already afraid to accept. Inside, she gently helped the person sit up, supporting their weak body with care, revealing a face that time had changed, but not enough to erase recognition. His hands started shaking as realization struck. This wasn't just someone from his past. This was the very person whose life he thought had ended that night. The same night his business rose to power, built on a decision he never questioned, a decision that now felt like a silent crime echoing through years. She fed the patient slowly, speaking with patience and warmth, not as an employee, but as someone who had chosen to stay when everyone else walked away. A sudden cough broke the silence inside, harsh and painful, and she quickly reached for medicine, her movements practiced like she had done this every single day. He couldn't take it anymore. The weight of guilt pushed him forward, and before thinking, his hand reached for the door, something inside him breaking completely. But just as his fingers touched the handle, he heard something that froze him again. The patient whispering a name he hadn't heard in years. His own name, spoken weakly from inside that room, proving that this wasn't coincidence anymore. This was a truth waiting for him to finally face it. His hand slowly pulled back from the door, fear and guilt clashing inside him, as hearing his own name from that weak voice shattered every lie he had believed. He stepped away quietly, unable to face them yet, his breath uneven as he leaned against the cold wall, realizing this truth was bigger than he was prepared for. Inside, the maid spoke softly again. "Don't worry, he doesn't know anything," her voice calm, but carrying a hidden weight that made his heart sink deeper.
Your shadow lingers in the silence, like a song that never ends.
All along,
Every
and still chose to
corner
stay
your
silent,
memory.
hiding
Every night
everything
I
from him.
break again.
His mind raced
I
back
know
to the
time
past
has pulled you
year, the
farther,
accident, the fire,
to a place
the
I
chaos,
cannot reach.
and how he was
But
told
my
no
heart
one
still
survived.
leaves the door
How he never
open
questioned
for
it
a dream
afterward.
beyond
But now,
belief.
standing outside that broken house,
I'm still
understood
waiting
something
for your
terrifying.
footsteps,
Someone
though
had
I
lied
know they'll never
or
come.
maybe he had chosen not to
Holding
see
on
the
to
truth.
broken
A sudden noise
echoes
on the
of a
street made him
love
step back
already
further into
gone.
the shadows.
I'm
As a
still
small
waiting
delivery
for
van
stars say it's untrue.
Two men stepped
Somewhere deep
carrying
inside
medical
this
supplies,
broken heart,
walking
I
straight
still
toward that same
belong.
house. Like this wasn't
to you.
unusual. Like this place had been surviving
People
quietly
tell me
for years.
keep on
He
moving,
watched as they
that
knocked
some
in the same
endings
pattern,
must
and the door
remain.
opened again,
But
confirming
how
this
do I
wasn't a
stop
one-time
believing
visit. This was
when
a
your
routine
name still
built on
calls my
secrecy.
pain?
And in that moment,
I'm
new
still
question
waiting
rose
for
inside.
your footsteps.
If this
Though
had been
I
going
know
on
they'll
for so
never
long,
come,
then who was
holding on to
why
broken
was he the only
echoes
one
of
kept
the
in the
love
He stepped
already
back
gone.
into the shadows
I'm
as the
still
two men,
waiting for
their
your
calm
return,
behavior proving
though
that
the
hidden
stars
routine
say
had
it's
been running
untrue.
long before tonight.
Somewhere
Without
deep
his knowledge,
inside this
rain slowed
broken
to a
heart,
drizzle,
I
but his
still
thoughts stormed harder.
belong
How
to
could something this big exist right under his control, yet remain completely invisible to him? After a few minutes, the door opened again, and the men left quietly, their expressions neutral, like they were used to silence and secrets. He
Maybe
moved closer
hope
once
is just
more, unable
a
to walk
prison.
away now. Each
Maybe
step pulling
love
him
can
deeper into
blind
a
the
truth
soul.
that felt heavier than any
But
business
even
deal he
knowing
had ever
you
handled.
won't
Through
find
the
me,
window,
I
he
still
saw her counting the
wait
remaining money,
here.
carefully placing it back into the metal box. Her face
I'm still
showing
waiting for your
not
footsteps, though I
Patience
know
was
they'll never
voice
come.
weak but clear.
Holding on to
You shouldn't
broken
keep doing
echoes
this. He
of
would
a
never care.
love already
Each word
gone.
cutting deep.
I'm still
He
waiting
paused,
for
then
your
replied with
return,
quiet strength.
though the stars
It's
say
not
it's
about what he
untrue.
deserves. It's about
Somewhere
what's
deep
right.
inside
Her
this
words
broken
filled with
heart, I
loyalty he never
still
earned. Those words shook him,
belong.
because for the first time, he saw himself not as a powerful man, but as someone who had unknowingly lived on someone else's suffering. A loud thunder cracked the sky, and with it, a decision formed inside him. Running from this truth would destroy whatever humanity he had left. He turned away from the window, walking back toward the car slowly, but this time not to leave. Instead, to return in a way that would change everything. The engine roared back to life as he sat behind the wheel again, but this time his hands weren't steady. They carried the weight of a truth he could no longer ignore. He drove through the wet streets, city lights reflecting on the glass. But his mind stayed trapped in that small room, replaying every moment again and again. Within minutes, the car stopped outside a private hospital, one of the best in the city. A place he owned, yet never truly understood until tonight. He stepped out quickly, no disguise now, walking through the emergency entrance as staff instantly recognized him, their posture shifting with sudden urgency. Without wasting time, he called the chief doctor, his voice firm but shaken. Prepare a full medical team. I need a life saved tonight. No questions asked. The doctor hesitated for a moment, surprised by the tone, but nodded immediately, sensing something different, something personal behind the command. He signed a blank approval, authorizing unlimited expenses, something he had done before for business, but never for a human life. Minutes later, ambulances were arranged, equipment prepared, and a team stood ready, waiting for his signal. As rain continued tapping against the glass doors. But just as he turned to leave, a sudden call came to his phone from an unknown number, making him pause mid-step. He answered, and a cold voice whispered, "If you interfere now, the truth won't just hurt you. It will destroy everything you have built." His grip tightened around the phone. But this time he didn't hesitate. Fear had lost its control over his computer. He signaled the medical team immediately, voice firm, choosing truth over fear, knowing whatever breaks now was already broken. Ambulances rushed through the night as he returned to that house. No disguise, no hiding, ready to face everything he once ran from. The door opened.
up
But he
hoping.
stepped forward calmly,
Stop searching
saying,
your eyes for
"You don't
me.
have to carry this alone
But
anymore."
until then I'll stay a
Doctors moved
shadow
fast,
where
lifting
your
the
heart
patient
will
carefully,
never be.
while years of silence finally broke between them without anger.
I quietly
Days later in
keep
the
watching you
Machines
like a
beat steadily
stranger
as life
passing
slowly
by,
returned.
standing
stayed there
outside
every day,
your love story,
not as a boss,
while my
but
own
as
heart
someone
asks me
seeking
why.
redemption.
I'm
When
the
those weak eyes
silence
finally
in the
opened, they
background,
didn't show hatred.
the one
They
you'll
showed
never
forgiveness.
choose,
Something he never
loving you
expected.
without
Something he knew he
belonging,
didn't deserve. The story ends here,
with
but the mystery lives
everything
on.
to lose.
Like, subscribe, and return for the next unforgettable journey.